Welcome everyone to the District 31 candidate showcase for the candidates for the Fab 4 positions and for Division Director for 2025 to 2026. My name is Carly Cox. I am the immediate past District Director and was also the DLC Chair, and I'm hosting today's candidate showcase. To going to talk about a little bit of how this is going to go. So we have for each of the Fab 4 candidates, they will have 10 minutes. For each of the division director candidates, they will have 5 minutes. Those will be hard and fast timings, and they will be cut off and muted when their time is up. So it is up to them to make sure that they are mindful of their time so that they don't get cut off mid-sentence. Each candidate will be given the opportunity, if they choose to make a statement, they can make it at the beginning of their time or the end of their time, or they can not make a statement, or they could make tiny statements on both ends if they'd like. But in between, they will be asked questions by one of our two moderators. So Gina Salcedo, past district director, will be one of our moderators. She will be asking questions for the candidates for district director, program quality director, club growth director, division A director, Division B director, and Division C director. And Nigel Griffith will be our moderator for the remaining roles, the public relations manager and divisions E, F, and G directors. We will have timers to give the candidates the visual cues so that they can time out when we need to stop and when they need to switch to making a statement. And we're going to be just giving introductions of what the person's name is, what they're candidate for, and then going straight into asking them if they would like to make a statement at the beginning or the end, and then they'll either start their statement or they'll go into the questions. Are there any questions about how the meeting format will run tonight? No? Okay, hearing no questions, then I will turn it over to Gina to kick us off with the role of district director.
Thank you so much, Carly. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Candidates Showcase. I think it's wonderful that we're doing this. These roles are so critical. And I also want to just take a minute to say thank you to every single candidate because these roles are no small feat. So the fact that they are running for these, stepping up is wonderful. I'm going to start out with our candidate for nominated candidate for district director, Veera Shriram. Sorry. Veera Shriram, would you like to make a statement before we start?
Yes, dismissed Gina. Good evening, dear Toastmasters. I am Veera Shriram, a combination of Steve Jobs and George Clooney. I currently serve you all as your program quality director. Been in this role from July 1st, but I've been as part of a senior district leadership for the last 3 years. I've seen the challenges that the district is facing, and I have developed experience looking at the challenges, solving the problems with 3 different sets of senior leadership. Gain the experience, and I feel that my ideas, my vision can take this district forward, and we'll ensure that together we'll bring and build a strong district where club excellence is at the epitome and every club can reap the benefit that the district is putting together. Gina, open to questions.
Thank you, Veera. First, let's start with what bold strategic vision would you set to elevate the district's performance in a way that a sustainable legacy beyond your term?
Thank you, distinguished Gina. Dear Toastmasters, the area director is the link between the district and the clubs. The last 3 years that I've observed is we create the best strategies in the world, but taking that to the grassroots level is where we need to really work on and put our efforts together. What I will try to do is to arrive early. What does that mean is, if elected on April 26th, we'll start finding the area directors and try to fill them by mid-May and start the training early. If we train our area directors to be trained and ready to work on July 1st, I think we'll have a head start. And that is what is really important. Fill up every single area director role. It's easier said than done, but we have to work collectively to fill in those roles. So all the division directors will work together to find those candidates that are intrinsically motivated to give and take the district mission to the club. Because Gina, over to you.
Thank you. That sounds great. And actually, this second question ties to that. How will you cultivate a deep bench of future leaders in your district and ensure succession planning is more than just filling roles?
Because Gina, starting early, I strongly feel if we can start in mid-May, the new area directors get an opportunity to work with the current area directors. And it will become an easy transition rather than on July 1st, them trying to find out which club, whom to contact. If we can make those introductions in May, they'll have 1 month to really shadow the area directors. That experience is really important. At Toastmasters, the experiential learning. We can take them to a class, train them on what an area director is, what a report is. But if they get an opportunity to film the report together with current area directors, and I think a big emphasis is to get those area directors filled in as early as possible and start the training as early as mid-May to June. That is where we'll really be successful in imparting our area directors with the skills that they need. And then the division directors can monitor that, but that is a crucial element. When that happens, the vision of the district will easily trickle down to the district executive committee. They can collaborate with the district council and take the vision forward. If that piece of district executive committee not understanding the district vision, then there's ambiguity. And when there's ambiguity, there's no common purpose that all the members are working towards. So that is a crucial element, is to train them and let them understand what the vision is of, and the vision is not any rocket science. It's going to be excellence. Like if you look at the clubs, Gina and dear Toastmasters, we have about 140 clubs, out of which 40 clubs are distinguished every year. Why not 100 clubs? Like the experience of a member should be consistent across the district. And that is what we want to strive for, Gina.
What procedures should be implemented to ensure district leaders are conducting themselves according to our core values?
There's no two ways to whatever we do. It has to be with respect, integrity, service, and excellence. We may become distinguished, we may not become distinguished, but if we don't uphold the core values of Toastmasters, there's no fun in being distinguished or not. Even if you're not distinguished, but if we are upholding respect, integrity, service, and excellence, I will be the most happiest person. Why? The core values are in place as a guiding force. Dear Toastmasters, whenever as leaders we have ambiguity and we have to make a decision, sometimes leaders do not have all the information. And these core values are the cornerstone. They are the tenets on which we can make our decisions. And hence the core values are so important. Now, how do we saturate it? How do we take it to the grassroots level? Again, constant trainings on the importance of having excellence, having integrity, respect, and the service mentality. Those are cornerstone of Toastmasters, Gina. We may do anything, but out of all these four, I think integrity is the most closest one. We have to train on all the four, but if there's no integrity, then there's absolutely no trust there. So earning trust of our members is so crucial. We may fall short on excellence, we may fall short on service, we may fall short on respect, but integrity is not negotiable, Gina. So we'll double down on that.
That makes a lot of sense. Tying to that same question, being distinguished is an important goal for all district leaders. However, in the home stretch, some leaders resort to unethical practices in order to achieve distinguished status. What should be done to prevent this from happening? How can this be monitored? And what should be the consequences for those who engage in that activity?
Dear Toastmasters, as a district leader, I get 4 opportunities to take my district to be a distinguished district. 2 opportunities were gone. I still have 2 more opportunities. Hopefully this year will be distinguished, but the temptation to be distinguished is so strong that we want to get there. It's the mentality of, climbing the Mount Everest. You may be 10 feet away, but if the Sherpa says turn back, you have to turn back. If you don't turn back, it's the end. As a Toastmaster, as a leader, if we don't become distinguished, it is okay. Thinking as a long-term leader, there's so much more for Toastmasters. But if we get into a practice which is not integrity, not respect, not service, not excellent, there's not going to be a Toastmasters journey for me anymore. So I see the big vision is not this year, but 10 years down the line, I still see a future in me as a Toastmaster leader. I have the ambitions to serve at the international level. So I'll not cut short my journey for a small, it's a tempting thing, but, if it's not in the right direction, it's better to leave away. Toastmaster Gina?
Thank you. Tell us about a time when you chose to do something that, although not best for you and your personal goals, met the needs of others. What made you decide to act in their best interest while sacrificing your own?
That's a great question, Toastmaster Gina. Many times disagree and commit. We may have the best ideas of what we think is great for the district. I wanted to do a lot more of billboard campaigns with my myopic view, but the senior leadership decided that that does not pay dividends. So we have to disagree and think about opportunities which are more, have the potential to get reaper rich benefits. Sometimes we may go with the flashy idea, but they may not be the best thing. So that is one idea which we had gone through 1 year, but other years I had to disagree and commit with the leadership, the Fab Four in this case. So that was one instance, Gina. And I will go to my closing comments. Dear Toastmasters, having said that, we want to start early, train our area directors early. More importantly, have the district success plan as early as May, so that we can start working on it and have a calendar for the rest of the year, so that there are no questions asked, when is this event, when is that event? So we'll have a calendar for the whole year. This gives a clear idea for our members of what the district is planning for. Vote for Veera Sriram, your next district director. We will make the club excellence consistent across all the 140 clubs. Thank you for your support. Back to you, Toastmaster Gina.
Veera. Now moving on to our program, a candidate for program quality director, nominated candidate Christian Austin. Christian, would you like to make a statement?
Yes, I would, Gina. Fellow District 31 Toastmasters, thank you for joining us this evening or for watching the recording. I have served the district, had the pleasure of serving the district as area director twice, division director, public relations manager, and now club growth director. Through my time serving as a district leader, I know what it takes to have a quality club and a quality club meeting. I've visited many clubs as area director, and in other roles, they need to be fun, supportive environment that's goal driven, where people are giving speeches and keep on coming back to our meetings. I've learned that through my leadership roles, and in my next role as candidate for program quality director, I want to make sure that all clubs are implementing a quality program so that their members are getting the benefits of Toastmasters and continue to come back to their meetings. Open to questions, please, Gina.
Thank you, Christian. Beyond attendance, how will you assess and improve the effectiveness and outcomes of club officer and district leader training programs?
Gina, it's so important to have effective club officer training programs. This is how our clubs learn how to run their meetings. It all starts at the leadership level. And if we do not have effective training, then our clubs are not going to be effectively run. What I have seen this year that I do want to continue more of is teaming exercises, where we form teams of officers. They get together with officers in other clubs and they brainstorm best practices and ideas that they can implement at their club, and they outbrief the rest of the officers being trained on that material. I think that is one aspect that is going to continue to improve our club officer training. Engaging training as well. This is something that we need to continue. We have engaging trainings. We have the elective sessions, which was a great addition a few years ago. I do want to continue that. I would like to extend that not only to officers, but in also talking with Vera, being the program quality director this year, calling those knowledge sessions where we not only have officers that come, but all club members who are interested in a particular training topic can come to these meetings as well, and treat them as workshops, bring that back to their club. So not only the officers are coming back to the clubs with great ideas on how to have engaging quality meetings, but members are as well. So getting both officers trained and members involved in what the trajectory and environment of their club is going to be as well. Back to you, Gina.
What can you and District 31 do to get more members excited about being part of the leadership process?
This is so important to have people excited about District 31 leadership. It is great to have leaders that consistently come back and are experienced, but we need new people to step up to district leadership as well. I think part of that is this knowledge session, as I indicated before, getting members in to see what officers are actually being trained on, inviting them as workshops, and they get a taste of, if you are a club officer, this is what you get to do. The other thing that I think is really important too is for area directors to really be looking for that person in the meeting during their visits. Hopefully they're visiting more than one time, more than twice for the 2 reports, looking out for that member who's going above and beyond what they need to do in their role, and pointing that out to the officers if they didn't notice already, that this person is somebody who can potentially step up and bring ideas and help bring and guide the club into a positive direction. Eventually, as we all know, this is the stepping stone, right? Once you become an officer, you get that new officer, they're in an officer role for a while, you get them engaged in the district. So that's the second step. That's where the workshops come in. That's where district events come in. Let's get the area directors to also mention to all of the officers the district events we have as well. So not only the members, but the officers can see what the district is doing as a whole and see the leadership opportunity, not only inside the club, but outside the club as well. As Vera said, it all starts with our area directors, the liaisons between the clubs in our district.
Thank you, Christian. Going on towards more of a curriculum question, what innovative methods will you use to shift Pathways adoption from passive completion to active engagement and mentoring, especially among legacy members who were used to the older program?
Gina, I think there's 2 things that people are hesitant to adopt Pathways for. Number one is the interface. We had a upgrade of our Basecamp interface. It is arguably much improved from what it has been, but there's still people that are hesitant to use the digital interface. They like the manuals, and that's what they knew in the old program. So the first step is to have members that are used to the old program or hesitant to use Pathways to become familiar with the new Basecamp interface and understand what exactly it is that's holding them back from using this new Pathways Basecamp interface. So to do that, I think we should have at least one, maybe several trainings in our knowledge sessions on how to use the new Basecamp so that members can become familiar with that interface. The second aspect is to have members aware that they are not just doing Pathways projects for the sake of checking a box for upper level projects. We need to publicize, again, through training, that members can do everyday projects, work projects, other nonprofit organization projects. What are they doing in their life already? That's a project that they can fit into an upper level Pathways project. So to make them aware also through training of the fact that they can be doing a project and they can fit it into a particular Pathways project. We'll do that through workshops, aka knowledge sessions, or office hours as well. having a program quality director office hour session where they can come in and say, I'm having some trouble with pathways. I'm not doing it because, and let's talk through that, figure out what they can do to become more comfortable with pathways, and also what they can do to fit the projects that they're working on already into a pathways project so that they're meeting their goals. Back to you, Gina.
Describe how you plan to leverage the Distinguished Club program to promote quality clubs.
The Distinguished Club program, that is the metric of Toastmasters to measure how well a club is doing. And we should be looking at that metric. It's a well-vetted metric, and this is what is used internationally. So what we should be doing is what is going to happen next year for the Distinguished Club program is that all clubs, we should be encouraging to write up a club success plan at the beginning of the year to start them off on the right foot in the Distinguished Club program. Part of that is I would like to have a teaming session on that where we get either invite whole clubs in or maybe team one or two clubs up together to work through a club success plan in the beginning of the year. Maybe it's not the final plan, but we get them thinking about it and bringing ideas back to their clubs. So when they meet as officers, they can implement a full club success plan. And then in the second COT session, we'll have a review session where we can bring officers back to talk about their club success plan and any challenges they have. So it's all going to start with the club success plan. That's where it starts in the beginning of the year. We do a checkup, and then we make sure that clubs are on the path that they need to become distinguished through the Distinguished Club program by the end of the year. And Gina, would I be able to make a closing statement now, please?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Why me District 31? As I mentioned in the beginning, I've been in district leadership for several years. I know what it takes to have quality club meetings. It needs to be fun. Members need to meet their goals. I've ran COT training sessions before. I know what that involves. And I am a proponent of both the peer and elective sessions and extending the knowledge sessions. I've been a co-chair on CLCon in 2023 and 2024. I have that experience, and I'm organizing events right now for District Open House. I am about process, putting systems in place through the SOPs that I have, Area Director Toolbox, and Club Close-Up Series. Vote for Christian Austin, Program Quality Director, 2025-2026.
Thank you, Christian. Moving on to our nominated candidate for Club Growth Director, David Lintz. David, would you like to make an opening statement? And you are on mute.
Here we go. I have a few things I'd like to say, Gina, before I take your questions, but hopefully I'll try to keep it brief. First, I just wanted to say one of the things that makes me so excited about taking on this role is the potential opportunity to work with both Vera and Christian, as well as with whoever emerges as PR manager. I've had a number of interactions and collaborations with Vera and Christian in the past, and I think those of you who know them well know how talented they are, how blessed our district is to have them as our two senior leaders going into the next year. I look forward to speaking with both of them to get their perspectives and what they see as the priorities for this role for the upcoming Toastmasters year. I think I'll be able to hit the ground running. I served as club extension chair under Vera, trying to get prospective clubs up and running to the point where they could be turned over to a sponsor. And I believe we had pretty good success in both the year that I served with Vera and actually going into the following year as well. A number of clubs that we had started on actually became chartered this year. It was very gratifying to see. In the year before that, I actually performed a similar role for Jen. I didn't take the title because it didn't make sense to me that mentoring and sponsoring are two different things, and I thought they should be unified under a single umbrella. So I did that without having the role. The fun thing about Club Growth Director, and a selfish reason for taking it, is that it covers a lot of ground and it's instrumental in how prospective and new clubs view Toastmasters, from lining up sponsors to help prospective clubs navigate the chartering process, mentors to help newly formed clubs get off on the right foot, coaches to get struggling clubs back on a trajectory of success, not to mention providing prospective clubs with demo meetings that generate enthusiasm among prospective members, making the case to companies and communities that participating in Toastmasters is worth the investment of time and financial resources. Plenty to be done, and you can't do it successfully without a team. Looking at this and looking at the scope of what needs to be done, it's not a burden, it's an opportunity. Participating in club growth offers so many opportunities to our district's current members to hone their communication and leadership skills. So many opportunities, to go to a question that you asked Christian a minute ago, Gina, so many ways that we can identify new leaders through what they can do on the club growth team. So I'm looking forward to lining up a number of them soon. As I'm looking at the people in the room, I have to say I'm delighted to see both Mike and Shada in the group. They were both exemplary area directors for me several years ago, and now they're both candidates to be division directors, both the opportunity to serve for a second time in that role. And it's just wonderful to see leaders that come out of situations you were involved with. I hope I will be able to say the same thing in a couple of years about the people who came out of the club growth team to do great things going forward. I look forward to building the team, working with this team to bring the benefits of Toastmasters to a wider audience and to ensure that we remove the impediments to success facing our existing clubs. And frankly, I can't wait to start. Back to you, Gina.
Thank you, David. What are your plans to reach the district goals and membership goals for club growth over the program year?
That's a good challenge. It's like anything else. If you were to ask the question, how do you eat an elephant? The answer is one spoonful at a time. And I think it's the same thing here. With respect, there's a couple things you can do. It's always good to do what you can to retain a single member and to try to do that. In terms of anything with numbers, even more important to retain the clubs that we currently have. Anybody with a sales background will tell you it's a lot harder to bring in a new customer than it is to retain an existing customer. So we really need to work on that. And we really need to think about what's going on with our club coach program. Toastmasters, for whatever reason, has put the club coach in a little bit of an unfavored position. If you sign up to be a club mentor, in all likelihood, you will get credit for serving in that role. You put in your 6 months, assuming you don't screw up, you will get that credit. Sponsors, a little bit more of a game of dice. You can work hard to get a club sponsored, and it might not happen. But club coach, really, really hard. You can have a club that just isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing despite your best efforts. And it seems to me we have to do something to make that role more attractive, either to have some sort of recognition for them or some sort of raffle for them or just something to make it worthwhile to take on that role. The second thing is a number of roles, including sponsor, mentor, coach, are intimidating to take on because nobody quite knows how you do it. You know how to be a club president or any club officer by watching the current officers in your roles. You just don't see them in these roles. So we need to work on that as well. The other problem with troubled clubs, it feels to me that we hit these clubs very late. If you were a physician and you had a choice between catching a cancer, for example, at stage 4 or at stage 1, would any rational doctor say, let's wait till they get to stage 4 before we start treating them? But that's what we seem to do with the club coach program. So even if it's a question of having people as coaches, even though they don't meet the Toastmasters definition of it, we really need to start thinking about that. A lot of clubs are in trouble well before they hit the number that you have to be below before you're entitled to be assigned a coach. If we do this, it creates an additional burden for us of needing more coaches, but we'll figure out a way. If something needs to be done, even if it feels not impossible, very challenging, we'll figure out a way to do it. We have a lot of good minds. We have a lot of people who I believe would like to volunteer. Sometimes I think we're not as good at asking people to be volunteers as we should. And sometimes I think we underestimate the abilities of people who we haven't seen in action yet. So we can do this.
David, how will you identify saturation risks and ensure that new club growth doesn't weaken existing clubs nearby?
If only we could have that problem. It's I would love to be faced with that situation. there's no reason that new clubs would weaken existing clubs. It's like the argument that if we were to have 50% more members in Toastmasters or in our district than we currently do, how could we do it? Right now, the people we have as officers and as leaders in the district are struggling to deal with a district of this size. If it's bigger, what would we do? Well, you have more volunteers, you have more people you can turn into leaders. All of this is a positive. It's not a negative. So talking about saturation, respectfully, I think is a odd word to use in this context. It's a term that suggests there's somehow a limit to growth, that when you have a certain number of new clubs, then all of a sudden you have a problem. It's not a blessing. It continues to be a blessing. It just means you have to get more leaders on. I'm in a club that when I started, we were, I think somebody from my club will correct me, mid-20s, low 20s in terms of membership. We just hit, I believe, our 30 or 31st member for the year. And at one level, I'm thinking to myself, how are we going to get everybody the speaking slots that we're supposed to get them? Very wise women in our club, who I can identify on this call, pointed out every additional member is a blessing for our club. We'll do speech-a-thons. We'll figure out ways to get it to happen. We're making it work. The fact that you're getting new members in a club, the fact that you're getting new clubs or new members in a district means you're doing something right. And what's the solution? Do things less right? You have the growth, you deal with it, and you make it work out. You get more people to help you. You get more people willing to step up as leaders, and things work out.
We're going to have another minute left. I don't know, David, did you want to make a closing statement?
No, you can go ahead if you have another.
Yeah. Many new charter clubs fold within the first year. What strategies do you plan to implement to prevent that?
Every club that folds has a different story. So thinking in terms of a broad strategy is a problem. I'll give you two examples. I was the club mentor for a club that was very strong, had a relatively senior executive who was president of the club the first year, was a seasoned Toastmaster from before, did a great job with the club for a year. Then he got a better offer from another company, went off to that other company, and they just had a gap in leadership. That's a problem. Had another one that was a biotech company, very successful biotech company. Oh, strict red. Can I finish or not finish? No.
David, I'm sorry, but thank you so much. This is yeah, strict rules, as Carly said. I'll take it up with her. All right. Next, I'm going to hand the floor to my co-moderator, Nigel Griffith, to go through the PR manager for us. Nigel, it's you.
Gina, thank you so much, and good afternoon to good evening to everyone. If our district could look as good as we all look on this, I'm sure we will be doing wonders in 2026 and 2027. So I'm looking forward to asking these questions. We will start with Public Relations Manager. And the first question, would you like to give an opening statement?
So we will be going in alphabetical order. We do have three candidates for Public Relations Manager. So the first person to answer the questions from Nigel will be the nominated candidate, Sean De Silva.
Sean.
I'd like to start with a statement, Nigel. Good evening, District 31 Council, fellow Toastmasters, those here and those that'll be watching this recording. My goal as Public Relations Manager is to be the megaphone of our district and to listen to the stories of our members. Toastmasters is an organization that transforms lives. helping individuals build communication and leadership skills that propel them to success. But to grow and thrive, we must ensure that more people hear our message, understand our values, and see themselves as part of our community. Public relations is the bridge between what we do and how the world perceives us. If elected, I will focus on innovation, finding new and effective ways to spread awareness, ensuring our social media strategy is realistic, impactful, and aligns with the platforms our members already use. I will champion educational content that not only inspires but informs, making Toastmasters an undeniable choice for those looking to develop their skills. But PR isn't just about attracting new members. It's also about cultivating leaders. Strong leadership is the foundation of a successful district. And through strategic outreach, we can encourage members at the club level to step into greater leadership roles as area directors, division directors, and beyond. This position marks the beginning of a 4-year journey. I committed to that journey, to building a future where Toastmaster is widely recognized, our clubs are thriving, and leadership opportunities are embraced at every level. I ask for your support and your vote for Public Relations Manager. Let's work together to amplify our message, inspire leadership, and shape a stronger future for District 31. And Nigel, I'm open for your questions.
Sean, thank you so much. Your opening statement was well articulate, and I think it resonates with a lot of us. My first question to you will be, tell us about your vision for this position and how you plan to achieve it. And the second part to it will be, what does success look like for you in this coming year?
Thank you, Nigel. I'm going to actually answer that in reverse order. And I'm going to start with what would success look like? What would success look like after a year as public relations manager is if our district is growing, if more people are aware of what Toastmasters is, where our clubs are, and understand that leadership beyond the club level is vital to that growth and that prosperity. That is basically what I want to do as public relations manager. I want to be able to, again, like I said in my opening statement, champion the educational content that Toastmasters gives to every one of our members. I believe in complete and open transparency, whether we're talking about the great things or the failures we have. At least we're talking about ways that people can learn and improve. So I feel like that needs to be a big part of our strategy, not just talking about how we're succeeding, but also what isn't working and how can we change that and improve it. We evaluate our speeches and we talk about what people do well and what they need to improve on. It's the same with leadership. It's the same with how we operate as a district. And I think that that's very important. And I think that if we can carry that throughout the next year, we're on our way to a bright future. Back to you. Next question, Nigel.
Sean, what do you see as the biggest challenge of the public relations role over the coming years? And what is your plan for dealing with it?
I think that the biggest challenge to public relations in our district is innovation. We have become very accustomed to ways of publicizing, like newsletters and things like, more written form, but the world has greatly changed. There's a new generation coming that are more tech savvy, more into social media. And we need to adapt to that. We need to start using platforms and delivering social media content that attracts that new generation while honoring the traditions of Toastmasters and those that helped to build our organization. And I think that that is one of the things that I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see us be able to really focus on and talk with our clubs what social media is working, what isn't, be the role model for our clubs because they look to the district for guidance and leadership. And when we are excellent role models and showing them what succeeds and what's not working, then that helps them to also transform the way they do things. So that is also another challenge, to really make sure that our clubs are in position to succeed and are getting the message that they need to build their clubs and build whatever public relations campaigns they are looking to do. Next question, Nigel.
Thank you, Sean. What expertise do you bring from your life outside of Toastmasters that will provide a special contribution to this role?
I am a strategic thinker. I see the big picture. I see not just what needs to happen this year, but what happens 2-3 years from now. And that is the skill that I bring to this position right now. I am also a team builder. I believe that many hands make lighter work. And in a volunteer organization where Toastmasters isn't people's number one priority, you can't overwhelm them with too many things. And that is where, unfortunately, Toastmaster burnout happens. So team building, strategic planning, looking at the bigger picture, educating not just myself, but my fellow members as to, again, what works, what's not working, and always looking to improve. That is what I think makes me a very valuable candidate for this position. Next question, Nigel.
If you had a 60-second pitch to a news outlet unfamiliar with Toastmasters, what message would you deliver to position the district as a thought leader in communication and leadership?
That is an excellent question, Nigel. If I had 60 seconds, I would say that Toastmasters and what we do in District 31 is the premier organization to helping individuals build and grow their communication and leadership skills. No other organization in such an affordable way and in such a way that really is tailored to each and every individual can help you dramatically grow and improve in communication and leadership. We are an educational organization, and that is the message. That is our brand, and that is what people need to know about Toastmasters, is we are here to help every individual. Next question.
What is your strategy to promote Toastmasters to non-members that live in our district?
I believe there are so many opportunities for this through social media, through local advertising, through clubs and things like that. But really nowadays, the social media strategy has to be forward. Everybody is on social media. Everybody is on some platform. And if we can tap into those platforms, give out the right message, let people know how to find their local Toastmasters club, why it's so important, how they can really improve their lives by being a part of Toastmasters, that's what we need to do. Of course, the second part of that is the leadership aspect to our existing members, but you asked more about those that live in our communities, and that's where we need to focus. I'd like to just make a closing remark now, Nigel. I just want to thank everyone for your time tonight. You have 3 excellent candidates to choose from. I believe that a vote for me is a vote for someone who is passionate about the growth of this district, the future of it, who is going to be a champion of education and all the great things that why we're all here and why we're taking time out on a Monday night to listen to these candidates and to what they stand for. So once again, I thank you and look forward to your vote on April 26th.
Thank you so much, Sean, for your thoughtful answers to these questions. And I'm sure if you get into this position, you will make us proud. Thank you so much. Carly, who's the second candidate?
The second candidate is going to be floor candidate Bethany Hashway.
Thank you. Bethany, good evening. And would you like to make an opening statement?
I will. Thank you, Nigel. And welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests who are watching this. So I'm running for public relations manager again because I've loved it and I enjoy it so much. I've been vice president of public relations for my club, including this year and last year as well. So I love this role. And I will kick off with questions now, Nigel.
Bethany, many members across the district do follow the district's social media platform or read the district's newsletter. How do you propose to increase member engagement with district activities?
Thank you, Nigel, for this question. How do I propose to engage member engagement? So I propose to engage member engagement by offering more contests like on Facebook. Like if people like and share it, it'll grow our district immensely, especially if they're sharing it on Facebook and Instagram and X, formerly Twitter as well, because I think we need more traction on there. I find more people are using that these days. And especially being in the news business, I find that it helps. And even the new platform, which I don't believe we're on, but we should be on it. It's called Blue Sky. It's like X, so we should be on that too. And getting more outreach on all these channels.
Thank you. How would you conduct a
Sorry, Nigel, just if you could go back and restart with the first question so that all the candidates are getting the same questions, that would be great.
Got it. So tell us about your vision for this position and how do you plan to achieve it? And the second part to it is, what does success look like for you in the coming year?
Thank you, Nigel, for this question. So my vision for this year as public relations manager is I envision a vibrant and engaged community where our club's achievements, values, and member stories are shared with authenticity and impact. And I will do this with creative outreach and consistent communication. I aim to evaluate our visibility, attract diverse new members, and foster a strong public image that reflects our commitment to District 31 and to our personal growth and leadership and excellence in communication. And that's my vision for this upcoming year if elected public relations manager. And then you said the next question was
the
about
second question would be, the second part was, what does success look like for you in the coming year?
Thank you, Nigel. So success in the upcoming year would look like, for me, more clubs be getting onto social media and exploring the different options that are out there and what they offer, including even helping them to write press releases, because that will help attract more members to our district and it will have more outreach as well. It will reach a larger audience. So just seeing the clubs strive to get more social media out there, more pictures is what we need as well. That's what success will look like to me for next year.
Thank you. Bethany, what do you see as the biggest challenge of the public relations role over the coming year, and what is your plan for dealing with it?
So as the biggest challenge for public relations, I see that we lack with not being on all the social media networks, like the Blue Sky, for instance. We need to be on that we can attract the more generation that's going over to that as well. And more, like I said, more outreach. That's the biggest thing as well. And just be impatient as well. It will take time, but we will get there. And the biggest challenge is just keeping up with the times, but we can do it. Even being on TikTok too. We need to be on TikTok, meeting those demands. And like I said, just keep on reaching.
Thank you. What expertise do you bring from your life outside of Toastmasters that will provide a special contribution to this role?
Thank you, Nigel. So outside of Toastmasters, I run my own news website for the East Greenwich and Warwick area called EG Warwick News. So I have media contacts that I can bring in, and that will help to grow. I have press contacts that I work with on the side as well. So that will help too. I can reach out to them more. And I'm also a part of Rotary. I've joined that recently. I'm their social media expert there as well. I run their social media page for Facebook for my East Greenwich Rotary group. And I think making those connections with the Rotary Club, I can bring that into Toastmasters as well. So just more networking and more outreach. That's what I will bring in.
Thank you. What is your strategy? Let me go back to that question. If you had 60 seconds to pitch a news to a news outlet unfamiliar with Toastmasters, what message would you deliver to position the district as a thought leader in communication and leadership?
So if I have 60 seconds to share my story with news outlets, I would share it about the reason why I joined Toastmasters and why I've stayed in it. And that will help bring out the awareness. So I will start off by saying that I've joined Toastmasters back in 2012 because I had to do it for my school and I couldn't give speeches in front of my family members. And back in the days too, I was always shy. So Toastmasters has brought out my confidence in me, and it has definitely made me come out of my comfort zone. I don't think I would have been doing this 10 years ago if people told, or maybe 20. If people told me back in high school if I would be doing public speaking, I would look at them like they were crazy. So those are the kind of stories that I would share. And I would also share what it's done for me, how it's helped me in leadership skills and in my work. So I would share that to let the public know what Toastmasters is truly doing for the world and that we need to be more involved with it and get more members to be in our clubs. And that would inspire others to join Toastmasters.
Thank you. So that leads me to my next question. What is your strategy to promote Toastmasters to non-members that lives in our district?
My strategy to promote Toastmasters to our non-district members is to hang up more flyers, get more awareness in our communities. Even I would spread it to my Rotary Club, my work, the communities that don't have it. I would have them hang up flyers, let them know that here's Toastmasters, here's a great organization, it's giving back to me and I'm helping them to give back. So that's how we're making more community outreach. And sending out more press releases about Toastmasters to any news outlets I can, including the patch that I've just become aware of that I'm using more. So getting the word out there is what my goal to do.
Thank you. How would you conduct a district-wide public relations audit? And what KPIs would you use to measure the success of your public relations campaign and social engagement?
Thank you, Nigel. So my campaign would be more outreach, like I said, being on every news outlet if possible, even the public access channels, because those channels can help us out too. And just seeing how many members, where they're hearing us from, I would get that report. And I would say, here's why we need it, and here's what it's doing for us. And we're getting members in from there. And always asking when members come in to the club, where did you hear about us? Or even if they're seeing it on Facebook as well. So that's what I would do for my campaign. And then I would just like to make a closing statement, Nigel. I would just like to say that in District 31, we need to keep shining our light. So vote for Bethany Hashway for Public Relations Manager. Back to you.
Bethany, thank you so much for answering these questions. And I think it gives us a better understanding of where your vision lies. So thank you so much for that. And Carly, do we have one
Yep.
more?
We have one more candidate for Public Relations Manager, nominated candidate Carol Latoff.
Hello, Carol.
Hello, Nigel.
It's nice to see you again. So I want to ask you, would you like to start off with an opening statement?
Yes, I would. Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, first, my vision. My blog, Coffee with Carol, is proof that powerful communications can be simple. Under my leadership, District 31's communications will have real appeal so that you read them, listen to them, and watch them. They will become important to you in your quest for continued personal growth and professional development. And because of your increased participation, our District 31 will thrive. Second, my strategy. Leadership is my strength. It has driven my successful track record. Therefore, I have formed a robust team of experts in Meetup, website and social media management, and newsletter development to deliver timely and meaningful messaging. Our team will have two goals: to communicate effectively with our District 31 clubs and members, and to promote Toastmasters such that new clubs and new members join us. Third, my bio. I am a DTM and a 13-year veteran of District 31, where I led both a distinguished area and a distinguished division, and was honored to be voted Division Director of the Quarter. During my presidency, Boston West Toastmasters was voted Club of the Year. I am the author of Coffee with Carol, the district's official weekly blog for almost 2 years that boasts over 5,200 views. Retired now, I served as executive director in the nonprofit sector, where promotional work was core to my program's survival. I am deeply vested in the success of our district. I will not disappoint. Nigel.
Carol, thank you so much for sharing your opening statement with us. Tell us about your vision for this position and how you plan to achieve it, and what does success look like for you in the coming year?
My vision is to create promotional pieces and messaging that is appealing so that our Toastmasters can read them, watch them, and listen to them. I have developed a hopeful team, should I be elected, that will help me design the particular campaigns to make that happen. These people each have expertise in areas that will together make the promotional effort for the district successful. What does success look like? In my mind, successful promotion means a higher level of participation from our membership and for the clubs in general. More members participating in events, more members becoming nominated for officer roles, more members being interested in seeing their clubs grow to distinguished status. Back to you.
Thank you, Carol. What do you see as the biggest challenge of the public relations role over the coming year, and what is your plan for dealing with it?
I think perhaps the biggest challenge is understanding what the PRM role can do for our clubs. I think we need to ask the question, what can we do for you? And I think then we need to listen and respond accordingly. Of course, many clubs are worried about membership. What can we do to help that? I'm not exactly sure, but we can promote Toastmasters to the general public in ways that will perhaps impact that particular situation. I would hope that my team together would help me form a campaign that will address the biggest challenges in the district.
Thank you, Carol. What expertise do you bring from your life outside of Toastmasters that will provide a special contribution to this role?
I am no longer in the working world, but when I was, I consistently took on roles that seemed too big for me. I like a challenge. I don't have to know exactly the path I'm going to take to reach the goal, but I know that all I need is to be committed to reaching the goal, and I have been successful in getting there. I like to rely on a team to help me think things through, people who have different expertise than I do. It helps me understand different perspectives, and together we can formulate a plan that will deliver on the goals of the district. Thank you.
Thank you again. And you just said you like a challenge. So I am going to challenge you on this next question. If you had 60 seconds to pitch to a news outlet unfamiliar with Toastmasters, what message would you deliver to position the district as a thought leader in communication and leadership?
I would emphasize the district's longevity. I would emphasize the fact that we work on the power of voice. And the power of voice for any person in any walk of life will enhance their goals. I think that Toastmasters is a gift to anyone who participates. And I think that we can share the stories that we have individually and collectively to show and prove that Toastmasters as an organization is both personally and professionally the link to success. It is the least expensive education on earth. It requires a commitment, and the commitment will allow you to reach your goal.
Thank you. What is your strategy to promote Toastmasters to non-members that live in our district?
I think there's an advantage to partnering with other organizations that do similar things. Perhaps TED Talks. There is another one whose name I can't remember right now. I think that there's an advantage to partnering. I think that there are many initiatives that we can embark on. There are, for example, we can hold workshops for the general public about Toastmasters, about anything, about social media. We can reach out to storytelling groups. We can post about our members' successes or our efforts in the community. I think that there are a lot of things that we can do that will reach out beyond our borders to attract members from many walks of life. Corporations is only one example. There are so many groups of people that we could approach. And I think that we can form clubs in new kinds of areas outside of corps.
Thank you so much, Carol. And I want to conclude with just saying thanks to Sean, Bethany, and Carol for your thoughtful answers to these questions and for taking some time to share your vision with all of us here this evening. Thank you. The next part of this meeting will be
Yeah, Nigel, we're going to switch over to Gina to do the first 3 division directors, and then we'll be back to you for the last 3 division directors.
You got it.
Carly, thank you, Nigel. All right, so let's move on to division directors. Division A, Sherry Raftery, nominated candidate for Division A director. Would you like to make an opening statement?
Yes, thank you very much, Toastmaster Gina, and also folks that are on the candidacy. Good luck. And I want to say I've been in Toastmasters for 20 years, served in all the club officer roles, and even served in the district trio. What a treat it is, an honor to be and a privilege to serve in the district. And I appreciate the nomination, and I hope to serve as your Division A director. Back to you.
Thank you, Sherry. How would you redefine the division director role to be seen not just as a middle manager, but as a strategic bridge between grassroots and executive leadership?
Thank you. This is a good question. It's really important that it is a bridge, because this division director position is actually a bridge through Toastmasters. It's a bridge through for the leadership of the trio, the quads that they're calling them, and also for the areas as well as down to the clubs. So I see this as a bridge position, and I believe that I can help bring out aspects as I communicate with the teams and work on ways that we can improve communications, because I think that that's the most important. I would like to create a newsletter like I did when I was an area direct governor. We called them area governors. And I think that was very effective, because sometimes all the communication doesn't get trickled down. But when you have that option and you have the communications, as well as probably even a podcast would be nice to create, and interviewing different members of the area directors, as well as members of the clubs. And I think that those could be helpful ways to bridge and open up communications. Back to you.
Thank you, Sherry. You alluded to this a little bit, but what weekly or monthly systems will you implement to maintain transparent two-way communication with all your area directors?
Thank you. Again, Gina, it's going to be communications, and divisions are allowed to have division council meetings. So I would have those monthly with all the area directors and perhaps the presidents, and as well as the vice presidents of education. And I will be attending the council meetings that we need to have as well, to learn what the trios are working on and what the announcements are. And what's great about Toastmasters is it already is laid out for everyone. We have a calendar, and we have they lay out everything every month, what you need to be focused on. So I would make sure that we're focused on whatever it is that month that we're working on. And again, communications, newsletter, podcast, social media, as some already had mentioned, is a great way to market and get word out and bring us together as a team. Back to you.
How will you ensure that area directors in your division deliver consistent quality visits and follow up on club action plans?
Great question. Obviously, there'll be training, so we have to train the area directors first off on how to even, I think it's most important to actually, some of them have never or will have never have seen an area director report. And anyone here that has seen area director reports, there's a lot of questions. There's like overdone questions, let's just say. It's too bad it can't be streamlined, but because those are the questions, I think it's great to go through the questions before they even have a visit. So they're aware of what they are going to be looking at, what they're going to need to focus on. Obviously, working also in looking at the club success plan, as mentioned earlier, club success plan is going to be a requirement, although it's always been recommended highly on and suggested, and I've always used it in my journey 20 years, but now it'll be required. And I like how in the portals now it sort of tracks what you're doing in making the goals in the club as a success plan. So I can see how that would be a good pairing, and letting folks know what is on the form so that they are aware of what they're actually looking for when they go to these visits. And they're not going to always be easy, and it's going to be good for the to communicate and understand what some of the challenges are and how we can face those challenges. Next question, or is this the closing?
I think I would do my closing now if you want to do a closing.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to say I've been in Toastmasters for 20 years. I've served in numerous roles. In fact, when I walked in, my first role was as a public relations, and then next year I served as an area governor, they call them. And my hope is to run a division that succeeds. We know that it's not always easy being division directors, but with hope and teamwork and communications. And I'm going to bring a spirit to this that most of you know that I have. And so I'm hoping to be able to
Thank you so much, Sherry. Thank you for your words and attitude, always. All right. Now moving on to nominated candidate for Division B Director, Caroline Yang. Caroline, would you like to make an opening statement?
Yes. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Caroline Yang, and this is a very new experience for me because this is my very first year serving as an area director. And I am honored to be nominated to be a division director for next year. The reason I decided to run or sign up to be an area director this year was to fulfill the DTM requirement. I didn't have any strong desires to be a leader of district. I just thought that, okay, I'll do this and fulfill that requirement. And the only goal that I had when I became an area director was to not annoy the presidents of my area. So that when I have to write report, I don't ask them a bunch of questions and keep sending them emails. And that was the only goal that I had. Now that I have been serving for over, I guess, close to 3 quarters, I just finished all my spring visits last week. I learned so much as an area director, and I met many new people, and I got to work with a bunch of district leaders that I didn't know that well. And I thought, wow, this is much better than what I expected. All I wanted to do was not annoy the presidents, and I'm learning so much. So for next year, as a division director, which I wasn't really planning to do, but I think this will be a great opportunity to work with the Fab Four, and I want to be the kind of wonderful support that my current Division B director, Jeannie, has been for me, and work with the other division directors and make District 31 a great success. Back to you, Gina.
Thank you, Caroline. How would you redefine the division director role to be seen not just as a middle manager, but as a strategic bridge between grassroots and executive leadership?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I do believe that my role is to support the area directors, and area directors will have straight, as I am serving this year, area directors have the connection to each clubs, and they see what areas that they are struggling, or maybe they are doing a great job, and serve as connection to the district. And as a division director, my role is to make sure that all the area directors in my division do their job well. And as a division director, I also have to help the Fab Four to do their job well, as between the Fab Four and the area directors.
What weekly or monthly systems would you implement to maintain transparent, two-way communication with all your area directors?
I will follow what my current division director has done, which I thought was an excellent. We had a monthly division meeting, so all area directors got together and we talked about what we are doing, what is coming up, and our successes and challenges. So I think having a monthly meeting with my area directors, and I would love to actually, if it is possible, to visit them, have a in-person meetings as well, if it is feasible. So those are the things that I am thinking about.
How will you ensure that area directors in your division deliver consistent quality visits and follow up on club action plans?
I guess I learned a lot as a current area director from the district training. So I will make sure that they attend all the trainings that the district provides. I think that will be the first place to start. And I will also share the things that I learned as an area director.
Thank you, Helen. I describe a time when you had to handle a club on the verge of disbanding. What difficult conversations did you lead and what was the outcome?
Can you repeat that question one more time?
Yes. Actually, I'm pretty sure we're going to be out of time by the time I finish asking the question. So, but thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you.
All right. Now moving on to our nominated candidate for Division C Director, Shreya Mohammed. Shreya, would you like to make a statement to open?
Yes, thank you, Gina. And also I'd like to thank David for those kind words for me. And likewise, I have enjoyed working with you and picked up a lot of skills from you that I'm using now. So thank you. So as the past leadership in Toastmasters, I've learned that motivation, collaboration, and communication are the key to a successful club. And when I say to motivate, I think, I would like to, direct from the beginning, strategic planning and have a playbook for the term, like what we need to do, and follow it up through monthly meetings. If it's been followed, if they need more guidance, directions. And I would also stress training for officers and area directors. I think area directors should be qualified in order to really, go through those clubs and teach them, guide them. So, and also the club coaches should be trained. Or, they would have had, level 1s or 2s or been an officer. The reason why I say that is because recently I've also been working as a quality club chair. And so I'm listening to a lot of these kind of things from the different clubs. And I think communication is very important both ways. Communicating with your area directors and area directors meeting their officers. And also, I've learned that listening is a good skill. Listening and learning. I have found like listening and learning from other leaders and using their new ideas to bring them in. And it's very creative and it works. So these are all the skills that I have learned, and I am going to use this. And also, the other thing is learning and understanding cross-cultural communication is very important now that we're on a virtual platform and we have global community coming to us. So we have to learn and understand this kind of communication. It is very important. So that's what I would bring in. Thank you.
How would you redefine the division director role to be seen not just as middle manager, but as strategic bridge between grassroots and executive leadership?
Well, the way I would see is like, I think here again, communication is the key. I would communicate with district leaders, find out what's going on and be in the loop so that I can direct my area directors. And so this is what would be my key thing to do.
What weekly or monthly systems will you implement to maintain transparent two-way communication with all your area directors?
Could you repeat that, please?
What weekly or monthly systems will you implement to maintain transparent two-way communication with all your area directors?
Well, at the moment, as a club quality chair, I meet them on a monthly basis, and I would do that and keep an open communication that, if they have a question, they can come to me anytime and, keep that open so that, I can support and guide them and, direct them whichever way they have to be.
How will you ensure that area directors in your division deliver consistent quality visits and follow through on club action plans?
That's a good question. Actually, I've had two club coaches actually. So I think this is all a teamwork, area director, club coaches, it's again, monthly meetings. And also I've known that, area directors visiting the club actually makes a big difference. And then talking to their area directors, like what is the plan, what are the challenges, what's going right, so this is how I would play. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all the candidates so far for all the roles, but certainly for the divisions we just covered. I'm going to hand it back to my co-moderator, Nigel, to wrap up with the rest of the division director interviews. Thank you.
Before Nigel goes, I'll just say that, Division D does not have any nominated candidates. There is a floor candidate, but they are unable to attend tonight. But there will be a floor candidate up for Jennifer McGee is the floor candidate for Division D, but it was unable to attend tonight. Nigel, would you like me to introduce the remaining candidates for you, or would you like to introduce them?
I would like for you to do that. Thank you so much.
Okay. So the next, we have the nominated candidate for Division E Director, Jonathan Shapiro.
Good evening, Toastmasters. I just wanted to say I'm an area director this year. Last year, I was the chair of the Pathways Training Committee, and I enjoy being an area director. I have I had a good division director, Peter Swan. He was basically mentoring me. I enjoy talking to my team, to work with them. I have to tell you what I've been doing now. I've been recruiting area directors under me, and I've actually taken them under my wing. I might have a 2-hour meeting with them. I'm going to a customer tomorrow. I'm going to take them with me, getting them prepared to be an area director. Do you have any questions?
Sure. Jonathan, thanks so much for being a nominee. How would you redefine the division director's role to be seen not just as a middle manager, but as a strategic bridge between grassroots and executive leadership?
That's a very good question. I sort of believe that when you're dealing with area directors, you're working with them as a team. If they look at you as their boss, that's different. If they know that you're there to help them, I think it's something else as well. I've had the experience where certain area directors might feel intimidated by a division director, and that's something that I want to get away from. I want to make sure that they know that I'm working for them. And because I've been working in the district for a few years, I'm sort of aware of the whole district. I enjoy working in the district, and I enjoy giving back to Toastmasters, because I've been Toastmaster for about 13 years. And anyway.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. What weekly or monthly system will you implement to maintain transparency, two-way communication with all your area directors?
That's another good question. First of all, what I do is I would create an agenda first, and I would have a meeting at least once a month, but I would have each one of them talk a little bit about their own experiences and what they're going through in the area. I mean, I'm not at the point where I'm so removed from the different clubs. I sort of know what the club needs, and I know how to deal with the clubs. And I also, at this point, I want to be able to deal with the area directors. I want to be able to train them.
Thank you again, Jonathan. How will you ensure that area directors in your division deliver consistent quality visits and follow through on clubs' action plans?
In my experience, I know as a area director and other area directors, they're very honest about whether I've had a lot of area directors saying they can't get in touch with somebody, or they have problems, and if you're open with them, you don't give them orders, they're open with you. That's my philosophy. Consistency. And I think I'm about out of time.
Thank you. Would you like to give a closing statement?
I found one great quote when I was in Facebook. A leader's true power comes from building trust, not control. I absolutely love that quote. And I feel that's my philosophy about dealing with area directors.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. It was a pleasure to interview you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Carly?
Yeah. Next up is nominated candidate for Division F Director, Michael Mateo.
Michael, it's an honor. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to give an opening statement, you have the floor.
Thank you, Nigel. Yes, I'd like to make an opening statement. So my name is Michael Mateo. I am seeking another term as Division F Director. I have learned a lot in my current term as division director, and I believe my experience will help the district in the upcoming Toastmasters year. I've helped facilitated training sessions at the club officer training sessions. I've helped ensure that area directors conduct club visits and submit the reports on time. I've also helped area directors as they conduct their speech contests, as well as organizing, conducting my own division contest as well. So I'm looking to continue my role as division director and serving the district with next year's upcoming area directors as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. How would you redefine the division director's role to be seen not just as a middle manager, but as a strategic bridge between grassroots and executive leadership?
Thank you, Nigel. When we're talking grassroots, one of the first things I did when I was elected as division director last year is I started to visit each club in my division. I wanted to introduce myself to each club, let them get to know me, as well as get to know them, and at the same time look for potential area directors. That started me off on a journey of building relationships with people and getting to know them. And with that, I believe that area directors are an important role in working with my current area directors this year. I was fortunate to have a full slate of great area directors, and I couldn't have succeeded this year without them. And along that line, attending district executive committee meetings with the Fab Four and then tying it all together through communication, I think is a key aspect.
Thank you, Michael. What weekly or monthly system will you implement to maintain transparent, two-way communication with all your area directors?
So I currently hold division council meetings with my area directors on the first Thursday every month, and I hope to continue that in the upcoming Toastmaster year as well. And during those sessions, I create an agenda that I send ahead of time. I create slides that I present during the meeting on various topics, depending on what's happening the coming month. And I follow up with that by setting those PowerPoint slides to my area directors for them to use if they have their own area council meetings as well. Along the line of the area council meetings, I also help support one of my area directors in conducting her area council meeting as well, which is on the last Thursday every month. So I try to communicate as much as I can with my area directors. And also, as far as members, I currently email a quarterly newsletter to all the members of Division F to keep them appraised of what's happening in our division and district.
Finally, Michael, how will you ensure that the area directors in your division deliver consistent quality visits and follow through on club's action plan?
Again, training is the key, and one of the sessions I helped facilitate over the summer was area director and division director training, where we went over club visit reports, and I had some slides that I had presented to them. Also during my division council meetings in the month leading up to area director report deadlines, I go over again in the slides that I present what an area director report looks like. I have screenshots of how to access the website to get to the where you submit the club visit reports, so they're aware of what's involved in submitting the report.
Closing statement.
Again, I'm running for Division F director, and I'm hoping to continue that with next year's area directors.
So our final candidate for tonight is nominated candidate for Division G director, Lisa Hunt.
Lisa, thank you so much. You want to give an opening statement?
A small one. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, directors, Fab 4. I am Lisa Hunt. I have been in Toastmasters for 7 years. I have been an area director twice. I have been a division director once. And I have helped in club officer training. And during the past year, I have not been visible, though I have been working as the district statistician, and I have been active in my club as the VPE. Though some would say that that would be, a low line equivalent. And I hope to serve you as a Division G director this year. Oddly enough, this is not on the way to a DTM, even though that may be in the future. This is because I loved doing the division director work. I found it immensely fulfilling during the year that I was there. And I really, really hoped to do it again. So with that, please ask the first question.
Lisa, thank you so much for your patience. How would you redefine the division director's role to be seen not just as a middle manager, but as a strategic bridge between grassroots and executive leadership?
I am going to reprise what some people have said. In order to not be seen as a bridge, you have to be present. You have to have people really see you. And in that case, they have to really communicate with you. And in that means talk to people and say something of real substance so that they know what you are talking about. If they ask you questions, give them real answers. If they ask you questions that you don't know the answers to, get the answers and give it to them and have them pass it on and have it mean something. You need to be an actual support to the people that you are supporting. One of the ways that I did this for my people was when they came to me, they did not know anything about being area directors. And I said, okay, we are going to have meetings once a month. What are the days that you are available? And if it was an odd day or a weird time, we had a meeting with an agenda. And I said, what's been happening? How is it a problem? Tell me what's going on. And only after we resolved that did we move on to what we needed to be done. I have over answered your question. What is your next question?
Thank you again. What weekly or monthly system will you implement to maintain transparent, two-way communication with all your area directors?
I've partially answered that, but the monthly meeting really helped, especially with an agenda because they knew what to expect. But I also said to each of them, what is your preferred method of communication? Just because mine is email does not make yours email. We had a gamut of preferred methods. Some preferred to have text, some preferred to have email, some preferred to have a phone call. We covered everything so that everybody was covered. Email turned out to be the backup, but we had an email backup. But I'm going to steal Mike Mateo's quarterly newsletter because talking to the members is also important. Next.
Closing statement.
I will try my best to support my ADs, to get things done on time, and to support the members. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Carly, back to you. Thanks, you.
Hey. Thank you, Nigel, and thank you, Gina, for both of you for being our moderators and timers tonight. Appreciate your help tonight and also your help in the days leading up to have us pick the questions here. And I want to also thank all of the candidates for coming tonight, for sharing your thoughts with us through your statements and through your responses to the questions. And as Gina said at the very beginning, thank you also just for putting your hand up and saying, yes, I will run for this office and I will try to do this the best of my ability and to serve the district and help everyone out. So I hope to see all of you on Saturday at the business meeting and also to see some of you in person at CLCon 2025. So I think I will stop the recording now because I don't think there's anything else that we're going to save for the recording.